41 pounds. So it will not be Kai Owen for Columbia. It will be Lorenzo Frezza going up against Michale Jaffe, the senior out of St. Charles, Illinois. Frezza dives around. And Jaffe diving for that right pogo, trying to get around, but Frezza able to break free from that. Jaffe comes in with an 8-13 record, lost to Penn's CJ Composto 19-12. Last time out on February the 4th. Crimson trying to break a four-duel losing streak. Frezza rolled around on that left wrist, and Jaffe tried to flip around for that lower leg shot, but Frezza was able to defend him. Frezza, on that left leg shot, almost had Jaffe in the pogo, but Jaffe settling himself on that right leg. Frezza pushing Jaffe close to the out of bounds, and they will reset. Coach Weiss on Michale Jaffe earlier this week said somebody who's been battling really hard in the room, somebody who has gotten hurt a little bit, come back, and has a little bit of a history of some small injuries, but nevertheless able to power through those. The senior who competed at the EWI championships last year, and Jaffe in that pogo, almost upside down was Frezza. Frezza was trying to get around on top of him, but Jaffe able to almost defend it. Now he's trying to transition it into a pogo himself, and Frezza trying to roll him over. No takedown yet. Jaffe was still holding on to that piece of the leg, and they're pushed out of bounds, and they'll reset in neutral. Columbia thought it was a three-point takedown. Challenge brick thrown by the Columbia Lions coaching staff, so they will review the call. He looked like he was very close to being in position. Columbia felt that way. That's why Coach Dinelli and his crew threw the challenge brick. With a minute 39 in the first, going to challenge it, and they were both simultaneously almost in on that shot, but at one point it could have been looked at where Michale Jaffe was on the bottom and with Frezza was on top, and then in that position he could have controlled it, but then simultaneously Jaffe at the same time was holding on to that leg and was in a little bit of a couple pogo shots. It looked like each of them were in on some of those pogo shots, but somewhere in that area that Columbia can really see if they can get on the board, and especially in a close duel, a 6-5 Columbia lead with a win at 125 in the pin, and then the tech fall at 133 for Harvard from Coleman Nogel. And now Frezza, who it was Kai Owen last time who had wrestled. He defeated Braden Bauer, and as we look at the replay with diving for that leg, it was Jaffe, and that Frezza was that right arm was wrapped around the lower waist. His foot though, his leg was in question, was in the air, and then of course they somersaulted almost out of bounds before play was halted. The question was whether the body part was close, and it looks like the officials have broken up. We'll wait the call. So that's confirmed, so the call stands. Columbia Lions sideline not happy about that. It remains 0-0 with 1:40 to go in the first period. Jaffe and Frezza. Frezza trying to see if he can use that as momentum. Frezza with that left arm wrapped around the back of Jaffe. Jaffe able to get further, but Frezza, both of them matching each other's tempo now. And it's only the beginning, so it looks like we've gotten through the feel each other out process, trying to set up their attacks as they're locked up on that right side of the mat. Frezza trying to get around, thought about the upper body shot, didn't like his position, and Jaffe, again, rolling that right wrist, breaks free, and you see that a lot from Michale Jaffe, and he dives again for that left leg. He was in on that shot before. Remember, it wasn't a takedown, and now Jaffe with Frezza grabbing onto his right hamstring. But Frezza trying to competing the better position with under a minute to go in the first. And Frezza with Jaffe on his knees. Jaffe now bent over, trying to stand up, breaks free. Defensive effort from Jaffe. Frezza. That right arm rolling almost that left shoulder of Jaffe. Jaffe slams the mat down with his hands, reassesses and resets. Frezza with Jaffe wrapped around the hand, they break free, and now they reset. Under 23 seconds, Jaffe with Frezza upside down, working on that left pogo, on that left leg. No, not yet, but Frezza trying to get on top again. Frezza hasn't established it. His foot still locked up around the left side of Jaffe. With Frezza trying to work on those the legs trying to get around on top of Jaffe with that grasp on that left foot is going to end the first period. It's been 0-0, but a lot of action from both sides, from Harvard and Columbia. 6-5 in the duel. 1-1 split, and Columbia looking to get back on the board. Start of the second period for Frezza and Jaffe. Jaffe will be on the bottom, Frezza on top. Good opportunity for Frezza to get some rotting time points in his favor, see if he can even potentially get some back points, working around on Jaffe. Jaffe with Frezza, arms locked underneath his underarms. Jaffe trying to break free, but trying to steady himself. Frezza on top, trying to almost anchor that left leg around Frezza, and now brings down Frezza again, to the applause of the Columbia sideline. Running time over 20 seconds to start the second period for Frezza. Frezza, Jaffe breaks free. 1-0 lead for Jaffe for the Crimson. Jaffe, right arm wrapped around the back of Frezza. Frezza almost baited him with the fake. Now Jaffe tried to dive in, stalling against Frezza. Columbia not happy about that call either. Frezza trying to move forward. He's got to bring him back. Some of the man almost diving for that left leg, and Jaffe spins around and away from it. We've seen that a couple times from Jaffe already, using his defense. See if he can turn it into offense. Frezza dives again for that left leg. This time Jaffe doesn't break free. He's still on his knee, but not even close yet to bring him around. Frezza settling himself, trying to reassess, but now he's upside down on Jaffe, rolling around, and Frezza sideways on Jaffe. Under 35 seconds to go, Jaffe leads 1-0 off the escape that came at the beginning of this period. Jaffe, just that left leg of Frezza just underneath the arm of Jaffe. Now he reassesses. Jaffe trying to get around on top, but Frezza with those legs around. Now Jaffe does get the three-point takedown. Michael Jaffe, a 4-0 lead over Frezza for the Lions. Jaffe rolling around, flattening out Frezza. Running time decreasing to 10 seconds with 5 to go in the second period. And Jaffe, how the second period will conclude, a 4-0 lead for Jaffe, who saw that exposure and was able to shoot it in for the takedown as we go into neutral. Take a look at the way he was able to get on top, Jaffe, when he was pulling that left arm of Frezza, and then around, able to get the first takedown of this bout. In neutral, Frezza on the left, Jaffe on the right. 6-5, Columbia lead in the team score, but Harvard with a 4-0 lead at 141. Frezza with Jaffe pushing forward. Jaffe locked up with his upper body, but Frezza resets. Frezza, a lot about diving for that left leg, and Jaffe, we've seen it before in the previous two periods, defending those leg shots really fairly well. Jaffe with Frezza diving around near the north corner of the mat in front of these stands. And now they're pushed out of bounds and stalling against Frezza. And that's the second occurrence. That's a 1 point of the penalty going to Harvard, to Jaffe. Jaffe now locked up with Frezza on that left leg is Frezza. Jaffe with his head behind the leg of Frezza. Frezza almost upside down with about 1:05 to go. 7 seconds of riding time. That is in favor of the Lions, but a non-factor. Jaffe working again, trying to break free of Frezza. Still Frezza able to controlling that lower body. Jaffe trying to get around on top, pulling that right leg. Frezza just trying to come up with something, and Jaffe just wanting to outlast him as Jaffe just around, trying to get around on top. Jaffe not there yet. Now he does. 3-point takedown. It's an 8-0 lead for Jaffe over Frezza with running time in his favor with under 25 seconds to go. What started out as a very defensive bout with the takedown that was not awarded at the end of the first, and now an 8-0 lead for Jaffe. For the Crimson, Jaffe almost backpacking on Frezza's back. That right leg extended, flips, almost somersaults Frezza around. Now 1 point does go for the escape for Frezza, but not enough for Frezza, who ultimately falls 8-1 to Michale Jaffe at 141 pounds. And Harvard takes their first lead of the afternoon, an 8-6 lead over Columbia. It's a 2-1 split. They won back-to-back at 133 at Tech Fall, and now at 140.